Chapter 5. Another place, another time, another life. For Celta, Camille Head. Another place, another time, another life. We used to walk hand in hand at the Botanical Gardens in Athens, Georgia, following the paths. This was my escape, my other life, and what I felt is hard to put into words, but I can say that this sustained me. The feelings remained and existed throughout the upcoming week, until I could see her again a week later. We lived in different cities. I lived with abusive parents. I suppose I chose this. I was an adult. What I felt, just to hold her hand, or to hold her in my arms. Perhaps there is something else that I'm leaving out. Maybe it has something to do with love. Her love or mine, both. I don't know, maybe because I had not known love from anyone at all, ever, before I was 24. Maybe I really didn't believe that someone could love me or be so interested in me. These days, or during the past few years, I seem to have needed something more than just a touch to feel anything as intense as this. Chapter 6. Where the Love Was. For Celta Camille Head. They said you were an angry woman, but where was your anger at me? Could you be so angry at the whole world, but not at me? Not ever? We had only a year. I guess that has something to do with love, our love. I kept waiting for that anger to turn on me, for me to do something to provoke anger. Yet I only seemed to see your smiles at me. That's where the love was. And what about the I love yous we exchanged? I never heard those words so many times. I never felt so inspired to say that, to say I love you so much up until then. That's where the love was. Or maybe it was in certain snapshot memories. The time we sat in the park, I was sharing a story from my past, a not so fascinating story, and looking up, I noticed your eyes captivated, hypnotized, transfixed upon me. I still remember this decades later. And that time on the swing, I was gently pushing you, our eyes transfixed upon one another, the sun in your brown hair. You were frozen there, I remember, decades later. That's where the love was, or is. Finally, it was in all the tears I shed after I heard you died. I never cried before that. Actually, the love, it's in the memories, in the knowledge that you are always a part of me, and I a part of you, and there's comfort in that. I guess love isn't just a place long ago. That's the end of the poem, but I wanted to add, this was written about Celta Camille Head, who I knew for only 1 year in 1990, some 30 years ago, and I revised it again today at the time of this writing. I was able to fall in love again. This is important to know. Writing about the past and what we once felt is a way to remind ourselves of who we are now and what we can find in the future. Chapter 7. The Swing. The Swing. 3 of us are walking in a small field. The girl I loved, myself, and her friend that we had come to visit. We came upon a swing, and as I remember it, I am in front of her, pushing her gently away, knowing she would return. It wasn't the way her hair was caught in the sunlight in front of me. It wasn't the smooth, the calming, the undulating motion of the swing. It was what happened at that moment. For a moment there, looking into each other's eyes, for how long, I don't know, half a minute or 10 minutes, and everything else faded from our awareness. After so many years, decades, I still remember this moment. That's what love is. This was one of the first poems I read at that first poetry reading when I first found the courage to share my poetry with a group of people. It was about a love of mine named Celta. She had asked to visit a guy friend of hers when I came to visit her that day. His name was David. I was a bit jealous. It seemed like at that moment pushing Celta on the swing. David had faded away. His words stopped. He probably knew what was happening between Celta and me. Celta and I weren't even officially boyfriend and girlfriend. We cuddled and all, but we didn't even kiss as boyfriend and girlfriend do. I had read this poem when I came to a new city for a new job. The city was Wilmington, North Carolina. I wasn't expecting to meet anyone else that I would love. Celta had died over 1 year and 3 months prior to making the move to Wilmington. Despite all my expectations and beliefs, I actually fell in love again with Lynn Denise Krupe. And believe it or not, the love was more blessed, more glorious, more powerful, more holy, and more meaningful. What those words actually mean, I don't know that I can explain it. I'm talking about something emotional, spiritual. Maybe that is what really matters.